Coming up next.
She was 8, and her witnessing mommy go through something and mommy get well and mommy stick to it. I'm no longer the pass out drunk that maybe she saw lying on the floor prior to me getting sober, or putting her to bed and I would pass out and she wouldn't be able to wake me, and that would scare her. And that's literally some stories she's told me. So those are gut wrenching. But not having alcohol in the home for the past 10 years, transitioning into, diving into sobriety, it was not easy. It is not easy the first year, the second year, the fifth year. But the more you stay on that path of just, I'm not drinking today, then all of a sudden, wow, I can't believe 10 years has passed.
Welcome to Faith Over Addiction podcast, where the chains of fixing and striving are broken and joy is rediscovered in Christ. You are here because you know there's more for you, a life beyond addiction's chaos, rooted in God's peace and promises. This is the place where Christian women like you learn to release the weight of fixing and striving and instead lean into God's strength to create a home filled with love, grace, and hope. She is clothed with strength and dignity. Proverbs 31:25. That's you. You may not feel like it yet, but you are stronger than you know. And God has so much more for you than carrying someone else's addiction. Here, we'll uncover how to set healthy boundaries with love and a little humor. Find resilience and grace in the messy moments of life. Celebrate small victories and embrace joy like never before. Lean into God's promises for restoration and strength, because He's not done with your story or your loved ones. This is your invitation to rise up, embrace your worth in God's kingdom, and take back what's been stolen by addiction: your peace, your joy, your future. Your faith is the foundation, and your boundaries are the bridge, and God's truth is your guide. I'm Tanya Gioia, your host and fellow traveler on this journey through the chaos of addiction. I'm here to cheer you on, equip you with tools that work, and share the truth that's changed my life. The joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8:10. Together, we'll uncover how to create safe, loving space for healing, starting with your own heart and home. By setting boundaries, trusting God's plan, and embracing His truth, you can reclaim your joy, your peace, and your family's future. Then you will be able to stand firm for your family and legacy as a kingdom daughter, a woman who can laugh at the days to come, knowing her identity is secure in Christ. So grab a cup of coffee or tea and get comfortable. Let's walk this journey together. We're about to take back what's been stolen, create a safe, healing space for you and your family, and rediscover the joy God has waiting for you. Welcome to the Faith Over Addiction podcast. I'm your host, Tanya Gioia. I have Danette Galvis with us. She is Kingdom RehabHER. And guess what, folks? You're going to be some of the first to hear. She has a brand new book out. We're going to have her tell you a little bit about that. And then we're going to get deep into her story of recovery, not only from some pretty serious addiction, but also of how she brought herself financially into play again. So Danette, share with us this newest book that you just released.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much for having me today. Actually this week was the launch of the third book that I have been a part of. Kingdom RehabHER was my first book, and it's my personal testimony along with being a tool for women that might want to go into flipping and remodeling homes. And the third book that I just launched was bestseller on Wednesday, and it's such a great honor to be a bestseller with those that have supported me in that. But it's a collaboration of 12 women that have gone through the valley and they now are claiming victory over what it is that they may have gone through in life. And my story is a story of addiction. There's another woman that has a story of addiction. There's cancer. There's a woman that might have had family members that had addiction. And so it is a book named She Nailed It. And it is inspiring stories of women from valleys to victories. And so it is just amazing what God is doing in the world of getting the story out there, right? The story of recovery and redemption, and just like being here today. So thank you for having me.
Oh, we are loving it. And if you want a lift me up, hope-filled book for this holiday season, because for some folks, as we all know, holidays can be difficult. She Nailed It will be perfect. It is out, I'm assuming, anywhere great books are sold.
It
Amazon.
is it is on Amazon. It was the pre-order on Wednesday, so it's not actually delivered to your Kindle yet, but it was pre-ordered. The hard copy book will be available mid-month, I believe, in December. But if they do want a book that is available, Kingdom Rehab Her is available. My testimony, and yes, like you say, I did that book as I believe it to be a calling from God for me to share my story of hope, because I just celebrated 10 years of sobriety. So it has been a journey. And about that eighth year of sobriety is when I really feel like the Lord downloaded the topic of how rehabbing yourself and getting sober and rehabbing a house have a lot of similarities, right? Like if your foundation isn't right, nothing's going to go right. Like the windows
Right.
don't shut. You don't have a lens that is in alignment with the Lord. So it's the same with the house. So I really use the book to do a lot of comparisons on remodeling the house and then also remodeling yourself.
How did the Lord call you into that? Let's start from the beginning.
hmm So I am a real estate agent of 30 years, and I did take a break from real estate, like transactions, being listing agent or buyer's agent for a little bit to get sober, right? My sobriety had to come first. And so during that phase and getting back on my feet, I decided I wanted to be more of a real estate investor. I had always loved the process of remodeling a home, and I am Miss Fix It, getting my hands dirty, working with tools. You see the pink tools behind me.
Yeah.
Those are for real. I use them. And it was a Christmas gift from my family a couple of years ago. So I really do love getting into fixing things and being a general contractor on my job sites. So um, uh, that led to a women's investing network that I
Mm,
joined because I believe in getting a mentor. I believe in coaching. I believe in having that, community of resources in your back pocket. So I joined a network, and inside that network, it's not just about flipping and remodeling or real estate investing or all the different strategies you can learn from that. It is
hmm
about spiritual too. It is about getting your mindset correct, realigning with what your calling and purpose is in life. Faith-based, it is a faith-based network in that
hmm
the founder is a strong believer. You don't have to be a believer to be in the network, but you will receive the spiritual piece as well, because that's just how she operates. So I joined that program about 4 years ago and started to dive into the training. And then during Wednesday nights, she does more of a spiritual coaching call. And
Mm.
she had just prompted, ask the Lord, is there a book in you? She was promoting another book, and she always talks about her favorite things. So she just prompted that question. And so over the next couple of days, and even on the job site, it was just starting to download the ideas of what each chapter would be. The idea of if your foundation isn't right, nothing's going to be aligned and nothing will
hmm
operate correctly. Same with our feet. Like I have foot issues from my, let's just say, addiction. I would be the one dancing in my high heels all night long.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so my feet really suffered. And I know that if my feet are hurting, everything's going to be hurting. So I compare the body, I compare the house, I compare spiritually, because if our foundation isn't solid with God, then it's going to have a filtered lens that we don't see clearly yet.
Mm,
So
mm.
the book was downloaded in that way, and then I just began. I took a year to write and just stayed on track with every week meeting with the publisher and just really moving the ball forward. And so that book, Kingdom Rehab Her, launched in July of 2024. And then that has led to other opportunities to share my testimony and share my story of hope. The She Nailed It book, like I said, is a collaboration of 12 women. There's another
Hmm.
book behind me called Financial Trendsetters. I was a part of that book and I wrote a chapter. That was a bestseller also. There were 14 women in that book. So it's just opened up more opportunity and more ways to share my testimony. Also, like a podcast like yours. I'm
Yeah.
saying yes to all of them because it's the Lord's prompting and leading to help one person. If it helps one person being on this podcast, then it's done its work, right?
And I love how you say the Lord's leading. There are folks in the audience who are like, well, I don't know that I hear from God. I'm not sure that I understand what God's saying to me. How did you develop that?
hmm So it is a large part of surrounding yourself with others that are like-minded and also growing in their faith, growing in their mindset, growing in their careers. And so it is a process. Actually, not a process. It was an aha moment where I realized, okay, I'm not giving credit where credit is due. And the credit of an idea or a thought is from the Lord. It's not me. It's not my own. I
Hmm.
transitioned my mind to really recognize, okay, God, what you're doing is giving me this idea for the book. What you're doing is giving me this idea for anything. Like I mentioned one day to someone about the cover of the book. I was meeting with the publisher one day and we were talking about next steps, and she said that it would be, start to process what the cover would look like. And it's just like the image flashed in my mind of me in a pink tool belt with pink tools and a pink hard hat and just really focusing on female. And like 97% of real estate investors are men. You rarely see a female contractor on a job site. And so I
Mm-hmm.
really saw that vision just tapping into that pink vibe, and that is exactly what the cover has is now. And I'm holding my Bible in one hand and my AA book in the other. Or my AA book is in the tool belt, actually. See, it's right here behind me, but it
Yep.
fits perfectly in the pink tool belt that I was able to get.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. What are you doing these days to maintain your connection and keep hearing? Often people will have that epiphany, and then it's almost like when Gabriel, we're in that season, when Gabriel shows up to Mary and to Joseph, we don't hear that Gabriel showed up every day.
Right.
So, how are you maintaining that connection?
Right. So it is a daily process of, it's my quiet time in the morning. I do wake up, and I didn't do this, let's say, 3 years ago. It started about 2 years ago where I read the Bible from front to back. I had never done that before, but I was raised in the church. My mother is a mother. She's a single mother raising four kids. I was the youngest of four. And so, what she knew at that time, she did the best she knew how. She brought us to
Mm,
church. We went to church 3 days a week, and it was twice on Sunday and every Wednesday night. And I'd also have youth group. And so, learning at that time in my life, the connection with God, a relationship with God was just kind of so foreign to me. God, in my mind, was a condemning God and like shaking his finger at me like an angry
mm,
father. And
mm-hmm.
you don't do that, or no cussing, no drinking, no smoking before marriage. And I'm sorry, no sex before marriage. And so I started to think, okay, I can't be perfect. So I fled at 18 years old when I could, and I graduated high school. I went and got my own apartment. I quit going to church. It was I can't be perfect, so why try? And then
Mm-hmm.
that's where my addiction took hold, just in regards to like having any alcohol. I was married before, so I was married once. I'm in my second marriage of 20 years, but my first marriage, it was just the normal progression of drinking and having wine at dinner and maybe going out to meet some friends on the weekend and dancing and having a good time. But the disease I didn't know is
Mm.
progressive. So, getting back to your question about how I maintain that, um, giving credit to where credit is due, and quiet time in the morning, reading the Bible. My word 1 year for just a being in this network again, the encouragement is, what is your word of the year? What are your goals? What is your song of the year? What is your scripture of the year? And the first time was word. I hadn't done it before. But that
Mm.
word, the actual word, was what I clung to for that year.
Yeah.
And what
Yeah.
I did was read the word. I read it from front to back. I'd never done that before. I knew scripture. I knew all of the stories, not all of them, but I knew of them just being raised in the church and being in church myself with scriptures and sermons and things, but I had never started from front to back reading the Bible in 1 year. And so
Mm.
I committed to waking up before my family was up, getting into the word and just reading it, right? And so the word also meant be my word,
Mm-hmm.
watch my words,
Mm-hmm.
be in the word.
Mm-hmm.
And even this morning, I was in my quiet time, and it is amazing how powerful the word is, right? The words that come out of our mouth have life or death.
Yes.
God spoke and he created.
Yes.
I just read this morning about Jesus used his word to cast out the enemy.
Yes.
It's the
Yes.
words. It's just the words. So that still, even to this day, 3 years later, the word of the year I had was word, and now it's still breathing life into me and giving me aha moments as I read the word still to this day. So it is the commitment to myself, to my spiritual life. The living word changed my life.
And that's he is the word,
Yes.
and he's from the beginning. And then
Yes.
another beautiful podcaster I had on said, often she will say, "It is written,"
Hmm.
and then she will say the scripture,
Hmm.
as we have written when Jesus rebuffs the devil after the 40 days in the wilderness. He doesn't even use his own words, even though he wrote those words.
Yes.
Says it is written. This is how this is.
Yes.
What a great intro into getting all of this set up.
Yes.
Tell us how your family has responded to these changes, and how's that been happening?
Well, so it it's kind of cool. I'll just say, I was sober 10 years ago is when I really turned it over. I struggled for about, I'd say 10 years prior, 7 to 10 years prior before I actually knew I had to quit drinking. My daughter's eighth birthday. So she just turned 18 this year, and that 10 years is just it's inspiring to me in that it changed the trajectory of her life because she was 8 and her witnessing mommy go through something and mommy get
Mm,
well and mommy stick to it. I'm no longer the pass out drunk that maybe she
mm,
saw lying on the floor prior to
mhm,
me getting sober, or putting her to bed and I would pass out and she wouldn't be able to wake me and that would scare her. And that's literally some stories
mm,
she's told me. So those are
mhm,
gut wrenching. But not having alcohol in the home for the past 10 years, transitioning into, diving into sobriety, it was not easy. It is not easy the first year, the second year, the fifth year. But the more you stay on that path of just, I'm not drinking today, then all of a sudden, wow, I can't believe 10 years has passed. So with that, it's freed and cleared my mind to see that the enemy had his claws in me and he was trying to stop me from the calling on my life because he knew this book would change lives. He knew this podcast would change lives. He knew that I would start to speak up against him instead of being oppressed by him in
Mhm.
the addiction. So and it's also beautiful. I just turned 51. So you don't even have to think about age because God does not know that number. He knows the calling that He has for you. And He is patient and He is loving and He's not bound to time. So when you are ready to live out that calling and you've gone through the fire, is when you can speak boldly and when you can speak with confidence that if it happened for me, it can happen for you too.
And age is not a factor because I know our demographic is 35 and older. We don't worry about the 35-year-olds worrying about that's too late for them. But as
Hmm.
we progress,
Yeah.
as wiser women, we say, oh, are we done? But you're showing no, there's
No.
so much life left in there. And how is your daughter looking at you differently having gone through the fire?
Hmm. So, well, the first blessing is she has made the choice not to drink. She has not tried drinking. I've had conversation with her, like just because I have it doesn't mean you do. And if you want to, when you're in your 20s and 21 and it's legal, then it's something you might try. But be aware. And so she even just said it the other day is because she'll be going off to college next year. She was like, I have no desire to drink. She said it at Thanksgiving. So I was just in the back of my mind. I'm like, okay, Lord, it is her life. It is her decision and I support it. Uh, Either way, I will be here for her. And it just really has changed just the way she sees it. She's gone through this high school season of her life right now. And she's a senior in high school, but since freshman year, she started to see the different people in her life that maybe chose the other path or the groups in high schools. No matter where you go, it's there, right?
Mm.
Teenagers start to experiment all of that, drugs, alcohol, all the things. And so she has really just seen them and how that changes people
Mhm.
and she's had no desire to participate in it right now. And, even with her dating or having other people in her life, she's had to end some relationships that weren't great. And, even with the guys, the fellas in her life that are coming that want to go on dates, she is bold in speaking, these are my intentions and this is what I'm looking for. So just even to see that is
Yes.
just
Yes.
changing generational curses, right?
God never wastes a hurt, right?
Yes.
Never wastes a hurt.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about this financial journey. Often women feel that the relationship or the family is the most important. You were raised by a single mom, so obviously she had to provide financially. How have you set yourself up for success? We've talked about the organization, but how have you, in the deepest heart of your hearts, not said to yourself, I'm never going to make it. I'm not going to
Hmm.
pull this off.
Hmm. So it is a daily action step, right? God can't use a couch potato. So after my quiet time, I get up and I get to work in some fashion. Being a real estate agent, I am self-employed. Being an investor, I am self-employed. The homes that I have in my portfolio now is part of that legacy. I've done some Airbnbs. I have done just flipping and selling. And as far as buying homes that are distressed and remodeling them and then selling them for a profit. And so I am my own general contractor. I get to reap that the profit after all expenses are paid to be able to provide for income in that way. Or I held the property and after I remodel it, then I can refinance it. And so I have equity in the homes that grows as my portfolio grows. So that is one way that I have begun to build the legacy in the real estate financial piece is that I have ownership still of those properties. And the other piece to it, like I mentioned before, I was doing Airbnbs. Well, it's not quite the vibe I want anymore.
Mm,
I tried it and it was good for a minute, but it's challenging because people just come in and they either party in your home or vomit on your couch, and it's not
mm,
that cool, pretty thing that you see a lot. And I did have a management company and a manager, but you still have to be involved a little bit, being boots on the ground. So now I've transitioned from Airbnb into offering sober living for women that are coming out of treatment. And I stayed in a sober living house after I went to a 30-day inpatient treatment program. And then I stayed in a sober living home for about 45 days after that. And sober living is where really the work begins.
mm,
We go into treatment and you begin to detox and you begin to get a little clearer headed, and you are in a 30-day intensive program. Well, afterwards, it is encouraged by the case managers that people go into a sober living environment as a way to get back on your feet, as a way to get a job again, as a way to start going to your meetings, as a way to start building sober community, as a way of, having structure, and you have to do chores and you have to have a curfew. And so it's a program that has high accountability, but it's a means to an end. It's temporary so that the woman could get on their feet and return back to home, could get
mm-hmm.
on their feet and return to buying a house or getting their own apartment before they feel stable enough to go live on their own, where if they chose to relapse, they could.
Mm,
In the
mm-hmm.
sober living environment, I do breathalyze twice a day. I have them do a urinary analysis once a week. We have house meetings. We do morning meditations in the morning, with some kind of a 12-step recovery program meditation. And then the women start with having coffee, and I have house managers in each house. And so my real estate has a purpose and an impact on the inside now.
Wow. And that was changing from the Airbnb
Mhm.
and then finding a program that fit with you. I'm assuming, did you design the program or did you invite somebody who already had a program to come in?
No, it's something that's been around. It's in every, pretty much every city in the United States is a sober living house. They used to be called halfway houses, where it would
Mm-hmm.
be a space for someone coming out of being incarcerated, but it's not always used for that. It is sober living where you have to stay sober. Some people are coming out of a situation where they might be on probation and they have to check in with their county or their probation officer because drugs and alcohol led them down a path and they got caught.
Mm,
So it is that accountability piece to, have that sacred space to know you can go home to a safe zone with other women that are also sober. And it's a sharing your story, sharing all the ugly pieces, and knowing you're going to be loved anyway. So I might have veered off your question a minute, but that's where it went.
No, this is all valuable information. In our area, we have some Oxford houses, which are
Yes,
sober living houses.
yes.
It's fantastic. So, how did God lead you to say no more Airbnbs? We're moving over here.
Hmm.
Was there a divine calling, or was
Yeah.
there just an awareness?
Well, both actually. It became aware to it became to me whenever I wrote the book and
Mm,
Rehab Her, because on the back of that book I wrote I had a goal of opening my first sober living in 2024. Well, at
mm-hmm,
that moment it was like, okay, it's on. Now I gotta do it. I put it in print, and it's
mm-hmm.
in print for the whole world to see, whoever has purchased the book. And so that goal became very real at that moment. And the book launched in July of 2024. I bought and closed on the first sober living house in October of 2024, and I was open and insured December 18th. So I'm coming up on a
Wow.
year in a couple of days. And so it happened. And now I have two homes for sober living, and I'm operating them myself as an operator. And it's been a journey this past year, but it's been beautiful because it truly is a needed thing. 70% of sober living are for men.
Yes.
And so the sober living need for women is great. And with my background in Airbnb and real estate and in building and flipping and remodeling and being creative and choosing tile and choosing paint colors, I love to be creative. So these homes are pretty. They're pink. They have color. They have just a different theme in every single room. And a lot of the furniture is donated. A lot of the furniture is from Goodwill. The beds and the bedding is all brand new, but it is something that I've really been able to pour my heart into creativity
Mm.
wise, so that
Hmm.
when women walk in, they're like, "Wow, this feels like home." It's not
Yeah.
gray. It's not stale.
Institutional. It's not
Yeah,
institutional.
institutional's the word. Thank you.
So
So,
this
yeah.
this phrase came to me, and I want your opinion on it, is God pays for what he orders.
Hmm.
Is
Yeah,
that what happened for you?
it still is. The
Good.
thing that I have to trust in every single day, every single month, and is that God is going to pay the mortgage.
Mm,
And I've had to, my husband is my partner in this, and so he helps the financial piece and the backing of it all. There are times where we've had to dip into our savings just to get the bills paid. And so instead of stress over that, it's okay, Lord, this is yours anyway. And funneling it to the resource that it needs to go. We're not supposed to hold on to our resources. We're supposed to give and give freely and trust. And so that is where we have really been shifting our mindset on kingdom impact and using kingdom resources that aren't ours anyway. We can't take it with us. And
mm,
so we are really working on that as the Lord grows the program and as more women come into the home, then I am able to cover the expenses of the home and not worry about like making any money, quote unquote, like financially. The Lord has covered our family financially in other ways. And so this is a way that has really become more of a ministry. It does have a business operating aspect to it that
mm,
I could earn more than what I would earn if I just rented the property out to, let's say, a 1 year long-term lease where I'd make a couple of $100, let's say net profit from leasing the property for a year. Now, with sober living, I could probably make a little bit more when I'm full. So I have 20 beds in two houses, ten beds each house. And so I have yet to be completely full, but
mm-hmm.
it's been progressively going. I've had 12 girls at a time. So it's like maybe 8 girls in one house and 5 in another. Like it just always is moving and shifting. Relapses happen. So that means the turnover is high. And, there are women that stay in the program. I've had a couple that are 5 months with me, 6 months with me. My managers have both been with me the full year that I've been operating.
Oh,
So
fantastic.
it's a variety of women in variety of time frame in the homes. So
I love hearing how God has restabilized you, allowed you to give back, and given you this big heart because he said, the cattle on 1,000 hills are mine. Do what
mhm.
I've called you to do. I'm going to cover it. So,
Yes.
Danette, if when women are ready to step in and follow what you're doing, where can they find more about you, your books, and you have a beautiful website? Can you share a little bit more about what they're going to find there?
Well, I do have the website for kingdomrehabher.com. And that also will lead to the sober living website. So the sober living that I have is called RehabHER Recovery House. And
Mhm.
that really is a play on words because I rehab houses and I've been to rehab. So blending of those two things is another thing God inspired. And since I'm a girl, I'm a rehabber, but
Mhm.
her came into play. So my website, kingdomrehabher.com. Also, I'm on the social medias, right? Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn are the main ones I operate in. And then the website will give you a lot of information about the book. The book is on Amazon. And yes.
Danette, thank you so much for sharing part of your morning. I love all the tools in the background and that the big book is in the
Yes.
pocket too.
Mm-hmm.
I am so excited for people to find out more about you. And on your website, if someone is in need of sober living or has a friend who is
Yes.
in need of that, they can find
Yes.
that there too, if I understand correctly.
Yes. The sober living website is RehabHER
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And we are recording this just before the holidays. So congratulations on your year anniversary and happy
Thank you.
holidays, Danette.
Thank
Merry
you.
Christmas.
Thank you. Merry Christmas to you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much for tuning into the Faith Over Addiction podcast. Remember, nothing changes until something changes. Today is your day to step out in faith and make a difference. You are a daughter of the King, a woman who can spark incredible ripple effects of hope and healing, not just in your own life, but in your family, your community, and God's kingdom. If this episode encouraged you, bless someone else by sharing it. Send it to a friend who needs a little hope or post it on Instagram and tag me. I'd love to hear what resonated most with you. And hey, if you're ready to reclaim your God-given identity and create a safe, loving space for yourself and those you care about, let's talk. Book a quick call with me today, and I'd love to hear your story and help you take the next step. Oh, and don't forget to head over to Apple Podcasts, search for Faith Over Addiction, and leave me a review. Your feedback not only makes my day, but helps other women find this podcast and step into freedom too. You are strong, you are loved, and the joy of the Lord is your strength. Nehemiah 8:10. Until next time, keep walking boldly into the life God has for you.